Reverse percent, calculating the whole given a part and the percent. So reverse percent, pourcent means 100 in French and means percent. Porcien means for 100 in Spanish, and por ciento means percent. We think about percent as per 100 because the percent symbol even looks like 100. So visually, we're going to look at 5 is 20% of what number? And so here is 5. You can see there's 5 squares. But because it's 20%, we want to make it look like 20. So I've divided it up. Each square is now 4 little squares, and there's 20 squares. So this is 5 as 20%. But we want to know what 100% is, so we need to add some more. There's 80 and there's 100 of the little squares, so that represents 100%. But how many of the big original squares is it? It looks like it's 25. So 5 is 20% of 25. Now, using equivalent fractions, 20% is the same thing as 20 out of 100, right? Oui, si. Of course, that's what percent means. So 20 over 100, simplified, is 1 over 5. But we want it to look like 5 over something, because we want to know the 5 is 20% of what number? What is that whole number? So we give ourselves some room. We see that we need to multiply the numerator by 5, which means we have to multiply the denominator by 5, and we get 5 over 25. So 5 is 20% of 25. Now, using the unitary method, it's very similar, but we say 5 is 20%, and we separate it. And we don't want to know 20%, we want to get to 1%. That's why it's called the unitary method. So we divide by 20 and get 1. Over here we have to divide by 20 and we get 1/4. Now we're looking for what is 100%. So we multiply by 100 over here. And that means over here we have to multiply by 100, and you can see that it is 25. So 5 is 20% of 25. And using proportional reasoning, 20% is 20 over 100. That is equal to 5 over something. And what do we divide by here to get 5? We divide by 4. So if we divide by 4 over here, we get 25. And we see that 5 is 20% of 25. And finally, just doing multiplication, 5 is 20% of what number? Well, let's switch that around and say 20% of what number is 5. 20% as a decimal is 0.2. Of usually means multiply. Some number is going to be a question mark. And is 5 just means equals 5. So 20%, we write it like that. Of, we write it like that. Some number is going to be a question mark, and is equal to 5. Now, the question mark is not by itself. We want to undo what's happening to it. So it's being multiplied by 0.2. That means we want to divide by 0.2. That means over here we have to divide by 0.2. And here the 0.2's cancel out. So now we're just left with something equals 5 divided by 0.2. But that's the same thing as saying 5 times 5. Dividing by 0.2 is the same as multiplying by 5. And we get our answer as 25. So 5 is 20% of 25. Thank you.